Hello, YouTubers. This is Tieya from Musings of a Mystic, and I'm back with another pick a deck, pick a card type reading. Today's reading is going to be on why you can't stop thinking about this person. Like, why you keep thinking about this person. What is going on? This is going to be deck number 1, Hematite Stone, deck number 2, the Green Chime Candle, and deck number 3, the Crown of Success Oil. While you are choosing your deck, I will say that these are general readings, and they will not resonate with everyone. It just happens that way. If you need a personal reading, the information to contact me for one is in the description box down there. I sell crystals and awesome things like that on eBay. I also take tips and donations. I think that's it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't chosen your deck yet, just rewind like 2 or 3 seconds and you'll be able to see those decks. Pause, and then you can pick your deck. I'll be here when you get back. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started on deck number 1, the Hematite. Fancy. All right, so why are you constantly thinking about this person? Can't get them out of your head? Why can't you stop thinking about this person? Why can't you stop thinking about this person? Why can't the seeker stop thinking about the person they have in their minds right now? Remember, these are general readings, and it may not resonate with everyone, and that's just fine. Doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. The message is for someone else. If you need a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. So why can't you stop thinking about it? Why can't the person and the seeker stop thinking about it? Okay. 2 of Swords, the Star, and the 10 of Cups. Now I'm looking at the Star card, and there's the Tower. Okay, so the underlying energy, I feel like you had like a terrible breakup with this person, or you had a fight with this person. You might have blocked them on Facebook, or they might have blocked you. And or just social media, or it might have just been like a we're going our separate ways, and you just haven't talked to this person since this Tower happened. This is the Tower. Okay, whatever it is, it happened in the past, and it was like super terrible. Every time I get the Tower card, it's something very unpleasant, but unfortunately necessary. So I'm kind of seeing this as like a fight or a bad breakup, or somebody being ripped away from someone else. And trauma is something that can stick in your mind for a long time. So I'm kind of feeling like already it's just like the reason why you can't stop thinking about this person is because something really bad happened, and they might have blocked you, and maybe you want to apologize for it, but you can't because you've been blocked and you have no way to contact them. So you're just kind of like thinking about it, maybe beating yourself up about it, or like feeling guilty. Now, if you're not the one feeling guilty, then maybe they're the ones feeling guilty. If you block them, then maybe it's the other way around. Just take it how it resonates with you, okay? There's a lot of focus on this. This is the Star card. And when I see, like, all of this really takes place at night. You can see in this card the moon up there. This is the Star card at night. See the stars coming out at night. And then this is like at night too. So I'm curious if there's some kind of significance here. Even this is like the darkest part of the night, you know? I'm curious if something happened between you guys at nighttime, and now it's just indicating that that was like an at night sort of thing. Now, why you can't stop thinking about them? Maybe you blocked them, and you were like, "Oh, it's over. I'm done with this. I'm the one that ended it." I'm getting that there's some unresolved issues here that you might not be like looking at or thinking about. This is the Two of Swords. Um, in the original card, there's a woman sitting on this little bench thing by herself, and she's got two swords covering her heart, and her eyes are covered by a bandana or whatever, and she's intentionally ignoring something. So maybe there's something about this situation you haven't acknowledged yet, like maybe you didn't acknowledge that you have feelings for this person, that this person you thought maybe that being with this person could have given you this happiness, long-term happiness, where you've got a family and you've got a house in the background and property, and you're together and you're just happy and everything's okay. um and then all of that kind of gotten taken away and dashed across the rocks because of whatever situation you guys had that blew up. So I'm kind of feeling like you could also be the focus, like this person is focusing a lot on you. And that may also be why you're like feeling their energy. And this is a very spiritual card, like a very, because she's in the water. It's also like a psychic card because of the water. The water indicates like a psychic connection. You might have had that with this person. And if you're not the one who, if you feel like you shouldn't be still thinking about this person because you feel like you dealt with all of the issues and the emotions around this situation, if you feel like that, then maybe it's just that they are focusing on you and you have a spiritual connection to this person. Because this is the star card. And like I said, it's got water. And this is a cup card. It's also a water card, which is a very spiritual, psychic connection sort of thing. Um, it may also be like in your head. I'm kind of seeing a person still in their head because this is a swords card. The swords cards are mental cards. You're like in your head really thinking about the trauma or whatever it was that happened, the fight or the breakup or whatever, and you're just in your head about it, and you are like, oh, I could have said this, like fighting with yourself here, fighting with yourselves. There's one that's like, I'm not doing anything about this. I'm done. I don't really want to see this person anymore. Don't want to think about them. There's other part of you that's like, I should have said this. I should have done this. I should have done that. Blah, 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 blah. And other parts just like, I should have fought harder, or no, it's their fault. They did this. They did that. And I feel like you're still hurt about this. You still have your emotions kind of wrapped up in it. And that's why you can't stop thinking about this person. I do feel like you blocked this person or they blocked you. I do feel like there was something that was like really traumatic that happened um, in the past that caused this blockage to happen. And then they're still focused on this person. I feel like it's a spiritual connection, and it's because of what could have been and what was and wasn't said. And that's kind of why I feel like you are still kind of wrapped up in it and thinking about this person and can't get them out of your heads. Now, you might want to do I don't know what your religion is. If you are religious, maybe you want to pray for cleansing, because this is a card where there's a woman on it bathing. You might want to pray for some cleansing to cleanse out your thoughts about this person. Maybe some meditation and a nice bath once or twice a week until the thoughts dissipate and go away. You might want to do some healing work on yourself because of the traumatic situation that went on so you can stop fighting with yourself about it and move on to your happiness. So that's what I'm getting for you guys, pod number one. I hope that you can kind of cleanse out your energy so that you don't have this sticking around anymore. And I hope that you can move forward and find a place where this person is not on your mind all the time. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tip and donate if that is what you choose to do. I totally do appreciate it. We're going to move on to deck number 2, the green candle. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Magic. I'm not sure where that came from, but I'm just having fun. So, pile number 2. Why can't you stop thinking about the person that's on your mind? Why can't the seeker put this person not out there? Why can't you get this person out of your head? A lot of passion in these cards. Like maybe you're worried about them because there was so much passion and you like gave this person a lot. This is the 6 of coins where on the original card, there's somebody helping people who are have less. They're not as fortunate. So this person is like on the card, like giving them coins. Okay, so I do see that maybe you're worried about them because you took care of them at one point, even though there was conflict and maybe some fighting that happened. It wasn't fighting that ended, like, I'm not seeing like the nasty sort of Five of Swords fighting. I'm just kind of seeing like maybe little petty things were happening. Maybe there were little petty fights where you're like, oh, I'm going to say this just to get under their skin. I'm going to say that just to get under their skin. But it wasn't like, I'm going to do this to eviscerate. I'm not going to like stab them and gut them. And it wasn't that. It was more of a, oh, I'm just going to, mess with them a little bit because they irritated me. And it looks as though somebody did leave because of this pettiness and all these little niggling fights where they're like, oh, I'm just gonna poke like it like a sibling. Why can't stop? Maybe because you were the one who was doing all this. Maybe you are worried they're not going to come back, and you're sitting here waiting for them to come back on a ship because you were the one who was like starting all the fights, and now you're like worried about them. And sad and concerned. Why can't you stop thinking about them? I kind of feel like it's just that you were attached to them. It's like you just helped them out a lot, and maybe you expected more from them than what they gave you. For somebody out there, you were trying to help them, and they didn't want your help. And you're like, but I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done this, I would have helped you do this. I wanted to give you so much, but you just didn't want it. So now you're looking back on it like, why, like it's like you didn't get any closure from the situation, and now you're just like, why didn't they want my help? Why didn't they take it? It's like I understand it because I had a similar situation happen to me. And I'm only telling you this story so that I can make it make more sense to you. So we had this guy live in our house for a while, and we were like, oh, try to help him get a job, try to help him get his life together so he can get his own house and get his own job and get himself together and, move forward in his life. But all he wanted to do was go out to the clubs, and he wanted to take his boyfriend with him and do this, that, and the fourth. And I was like, you guys, You need to kind of get yourselves together so that you can, be independent, so you're not always depending on somebody else. But he had his own ideas, and then we ended up having to like talk to him and give him like what's not eviction, but kind of like a, you have to do this or you could have to leave because we can't keep supporting you because we don't have the resources to keep supporting you. It was like you come here, get a job, get yourself together, pay us a little bit, and then leave. You know what I mean? But he was kind of petty, where he was like, passive aggressive is more the better word. And it was like but I was trying to help you. We were trying to give you like really, really cheap rent and, a place to stay so that you can get yourself together so you and your boyfriend can go back out in the world and be together in your own place because he got kicked out. But some people, I'm going to tell you this, some people, no matter how much you help them, which I feel like you gave this person a lot. You tried to help them out, you gave them a lot. You're like, look, I'm trying to help you get yourself together. Even if you like gave them $5,000, right? You're like, here's enough for you to get an apartment and pay the bills for like, 2 or 3 months, 5 months, whatever. And you can use that time to get yourself together, get a job, take a class, whatever, and you'll be fine. Even if you did that, you set them up for success, people are still going to like fuck around because that's just who they are. I feel like you tried to help this person and you're worried about them. You tried to help them out, but they didn't want to be helped. And you're like, trying to make sense of that, and that's why they're still in your head. Because you're like, but this should have worked. Logically, I did step 1, step 2, and step 3. All they had to do was step 4. Logically, they should have been okay. They should have gotten it together, but they didn't. And that's kind of what I'm getting from this for you guys. Like, you're like very giving, kind souls, and they left. Maybe they were petty towards you and you're worried about them, even though I feel like they didn't really treat you all that well. And you're like, maybe it's a sibling or a family member or a lover or whatever. You tried to help them out, but they just kept causing conflict, and then you had to get them out of your life, or they just left, and now you're like, I gave them so much. This should have worked. And you don't have closure, and that's why you've had this, like, these thoughts in your head, like, why did it go in this way? Why didn't it work out? And that's basically what I'm getting here. You gave a lot. Maybe they took advantage of you. There was some pettiness involved, maybe a little bit of fighting. And maybe they caused some conflict in your life that you are still trying to clean up and you're still worried about them, but unfortunately, they didn't take your advice. They didn't get themselves together. And now they're just kind of like, I'm gone. Bye. And you're like, what happened? Just what happened? So that's what I'm getting for you guys. And I hope that you can get yourselves together and kind of give to yourself so that you can heal up from that and move on. So don't forget, if you like that, if it resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and comment below if it did resonate with you. And if you need a personal reading, I do those. My information is in the description box below. So now, crown of success. Why can't you get this person out of your head? Can't get you out of my head. No more I try to think about. I just can't get you out of my head. All right. Why can't the secret get this person out of their mind? Why can't the secret get this person out of their mind? Why can't the secret get this person out of their head? Remember, these are general readings. It may not resonate with everyone, and that is okay. Nothing is wrong. Nothing bad happened. It just means that the message is for someone else. If you require a personal reading, I do those through Instant Go and email, and that information is in the description box below. So, Seeker, why can't you get this person out of your head? Alright. Eight of Pentacles, the Fool, Star card, and the Queen of Pentacles down here. There's a lot of somebody not paying attention here. Because the lady on the Star card, she's looking down into the pool. The man on the Fool card, he's kind of not paying attention, getting ready to fall off a cliff. And this person here, he's working on his Pentacles, and he's kind of just, going about his business. And then there's the Queen of Pentacles. She's looking down at this coin, and she's not really paying attention to what's going on around her. I find that to be a very interesting kind of situation. I kind of feel like maybe this person, maybe you met them at work, right? And something went down between you guys where you're just kind of not like really talking anymore. Maybe you get ghosted and you're like trying to figure out why. You're trying to get answers. You don't have closure. And you're like, oh, they're going about their business and not even paying attention to me anymore. And for some strange reason, I can't do the same thing. The Star card comes out, when it comes out like this, I'm like, oh, somebody's like watching or maybe cyber stalking a little bit, focusing on someone else. This is also a very spiritual card where you can see she's got the water. It reminds me of some kind of ritual, like a magical ritual where you're out in nature. I actually know a bath you're supposed to do out in nature where you're like, you've got black walnut, you've boiled black walnuts and pray over it. And then you go outside and just pour it over your body and wash yourself. You wash yourself clean of like emotions that are hanging on to you. And this is the card, this reminds me of that. Kind of like where you're just out in nature and you're just being one with nature and kind of just communing with it, listening to it and getting insights. And it's also like a psychic kind of card because of the water. So you might have, and these are two major arcana cards too, you might have had a life-changing event happen involving this person. Maybe it involves money or involves work in some way because these are pentacles. It could also be that there was a spiritual connection and a physical connection, and that's kind of hard to shake because when I say spiritual and physical, pentacles are physical. You can touch them. These are the most material cards when it comes to like what you can touch. Pentacles are what you can touch. The air cards are kind of what you think. The water cards are what you feel. Water, air, fire cards are kind of what you do quickly. And the major arcana cards going to have their own themes. But yeah, these are the ones that you can like him. He's got his hands on this. He's kind of hands-on here. You may also be a perfectionist and you're like trying to figure out you're like, oh, I did everything right. I did everything right. I did everything perfectly. And this person is still kind of able to ignore me and I'm not sure why. And I feel your frustration. I feel your pain. You're kind of like, somebody out there is getting ready to start crying. But the reason why I feel like you guys can't get this person out of your head is because maybe you wanted a certain reaction from this person. Maybe you did your best and you did what you thought you were supposed to do or whatever you were told to do, and you still disconnected with them in some way. You started over somewhere else. And it's like maybe you You even if there was a fight or something, you apologized for it, and then you waited, and they ignored you. Now, this person might be a soulmate, um, or maybe a twin flame. But I am seeing that you are still very focused on them. I'm seeing this little bird back in the back, like staring at her. But if you have done what you were supposed to do and you have gotten to a point where you're just kind of like, okay, I'm not even thinking about it anymore. I'm not mad about it anymore. But why am I still thinking about them? You know, I've never had this happen before. It might just be because you were feeling their emotions, especially if it's a soulmate or a twin flame where you're just like, oh, I say twin flame because this card has two cups on it, two containers, and it's a very spiritual card because of the water, like I said before. It's like a divine timing kind of card too because of all the stars in it, in my personal style of reading. It's kind of like, I should have worked this out by now. I moved on. I started over. Why am I so focused on this person? And then it's like, even though you thought you did everything perfectly, it's like this person just ignored you and you're trying to figure out why still. And the reason why you kind of still feel this person or you still think about them a lot is because you are connected to them spiritually or emotionally, even if they're not in your energy field anymore. Even if you started over and you left and you're trying to focus on your own life, you might just be thinking about them because you're thinking about you. And it doesn't always happen that way. You're not, just because you're thinking about somebody doesn't mean you're thinking about you all the time. But if you have gotten to a point where you're like, I should be fine, maybe either there's something unresolved but the situation, you haven't gotten the closure that you needed to truly and fully start over, or this, like I said, this person is probably like a soulmate or a twin flame, and you're just feeling their emotions, because they are thinking about you a lot too, which causes you to think about them some more. And it's like a vicious cycle with twin flames and high level soulmates because you're so close, spiritually, even if you're not in the same state or whatever, they still kind of are around spiritually because time and space is nothing to a spirit, right? So anyway, I kind of feel like you can't stop thinking about them because you guys are so close in spirit. Even if you want to let go of them, they're not letting go of you yet. Even if you just kind of want to ignore the connection and go about your business, they are still kind of thinking about you. And that kind of draws you back in again. Oh. Yeah, what did I just say? I said somebody's still holding on to somebody else. And I feel like it's a spiritual kind of holding on to. You might have physically moved away, and they are still holding on to you. The Death card came out too. And so the Queen of Swords, she's a very telepathic person. She can send you a mental message. The sword cards are all about mental energy. I feel like this is a false start. The Death card generally means something ended permanently. It's not necessarily that somebody died. It's also the card of Scorpio, which is a water sign, which is a very spiritual sign, a water sign, very psychic sign. And with this is kind of perfect. Like even though this is generally an air card, it's kind of like the mental energy reads as Scorpio. This person that you're dealing with might be a Scorpio, or you might be a Scorpio. I'm kind of feeling like there's a telepathic connection, a spiritual, psychic connection, and they're like psychically holding on to you, and they haven't let you go yet. It's like you think things have ended, but that's a false start. Like you might have moved away and decided that you were done with the situation, decided that you're gonna start over, but they haven't gotten there yet. So they're focused on you there. That's weird. It's like a weird answer. I hope that made sense to you. If this person is your twin flame and you know it, then you are definitely one of the people that's most likely being held on to psychically and telepathically. But if you're not, if you don't believe in that stuff, it's like you thought you were over it. You thought you started over. You thought you worked through your problems, but you are still focused on this person because you're still holding on to something. It might be a grudge because this is the Queen of Swords. She can also be very cold hearted. And maybe you don't think of yourself as that way, which is fine. But some people, when something bad happens to them, they hold on to it. And they're like, I can't let it go. I don't know. It's because you don't know how to let it go. So I understand that because I'm the same way. But anyway, if you're holding a grudge, I hope that you can work through it. Maybe talk to someone or figure out a way to let go of the resentment. Maybe you don't even know that you resent this person. But if you are a believer in the spiritual side of things, then this person is probably holding on to you spiritually, telepathically, especially if you want to let them go. But if you are kind of half-assing you're letting go of this person, then it might just be that you're both holding on to each other mentally, even though you told yourself that you're going to move on. So that's it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, tip and donate if you so choose, and contact me if you need a personal reading. My information is in the description box below. And if you want beautiful, awesome crystals, my precious, my shop link is in the description box below. I will see you guys in the next video. Ta-ta for now. TTFN.